Hello to everyone watching at home. We are Adelaide Eternal and we're bringing you the final round of our vintage tournament from May. You're here in the booth with Sarven, McLinton and Beckett, Wolfe.
Once again, guys, g'day.
So, speaking of me, that's me on the left, and we have Simon Hall on the right. I'm undefeated. I'm at 4-0 at the moment, and Simon's 3-1, I believe. So let's have a look at our deck lists.
So we've already been through these lists in previous matches, so we'll just be brief. What is the idea behind your blue, white, black Esper Mentor list?
Yep. So basically, it's a standard Mentor shell, still keeping in a Dak Faden. Doesn't eschew the draw and discard of Dak Faden and Jace Vryn's Prodigy and so on. And lots of singletons that you can use to tutor up and then discard as well. But the key point is that by running black, I get to run Demonic Tutor, Vampiric Tutor in place of Mystical Tutor and Merchant Scroll. And I get to have the big haymaker of Yawgmoth's Will. With, at the end of all of this, we have an additional win con in Tendrils of Agony, which gets around the downside of Mentor being a creature when your opponent tries to lock you or your Mentor out of the game, say with Moat, for example. You've got another win con.
And Simon's running an Oath list. Burning Oath or Punishing Oath runs Grove of the Burning Willows and Punishing Fire in a traditional Oath control shell. And that'll be really interesting to see how that goes against Mentor. I have really liked playing Punishing Fire against Mentors. However, it could be scary because just requires one counterspell to prowess the Mentor, which would in fact not kill it, trigger a new thing, and I think that could be enough that if you're spending 2 mana to kill Mentor and it doesn't work out, then I think the Mentor could get really out of hand. So it'd be really interesting to see this matchup and how Punishing Fire build goes against the Mentor list.
Yeah, definitely. Let's get down to the action. So hands are being drawn and mulligan decisions are being resolved. I can't recall who's on the play. I believe Simon is on the play. So my hand is lots of land, Mental Misstep, Preordain, and I think something slow like Treasure Cruise. So my hand is slow, but the perfect thing you want against other control decks. This is a library hand, but it's on 6, is it?
It's got Probe in it. It didn't have much else. It didn't have any other coloured mana, but I think I just love library too much. I'd be keeping the library hand.
Yep, this is the power of Probe in a control matchup. When you're against another blue deck, being able to see exactly everything that's going on is very important. And for me, I've got a Mentor, but I don't have any fast mana, so that's a turn 3 Mentor, which is far too slow against the Oath deck. So my game plan is to be slow.
Point out a really good play by Simon, which is a really simple thing, but you can see how it makes a big difference. If Simon had incorrectly let out with the library there and then played the Gitaxian Probe, Sarven would surely have misstepped it to get Simon off the library, because when he probes, he obviously cantrips, draws a card, and that keeps him hovering around 7. But if it gets misstepped, start trading with cards, now suddenly he's off the 7. So and here it is, he's fought over the Preordain.
Correct. And so the only reason why I fight over the Preordain here is because Simon knows my hand now. If he didn't know my hand, then I am not going to misstep the Preordain. But because he knows it, I'm just using up his known information, because he's obviously playing around my hand, and he has a call and misstep. Seems good. Yes. I haven't seen the game from this side of the view, but that seems pretty good after I use up my misstep.
Yeah, I assume he takes misstep there so that he can not lose to a duress. I mean, you don't run duresses or anything, but he's not 100% sure about that. And obviously, you play some amazing 1-drop that he wants to misstep. There's one.
There's my top deck. It says Cycle.
I would actually probably misstep that, because you've got... Because you're drawing the card, but if he missteps, he knows he gets to resolve ACOL, right? I guess you can preordain, but...
So he's kind of going, well, I'm just going to keep the misstep so that I can misstep if you draw misstep off either the Gitaxian Probe or the Preordain. He's also got the other option of misstepping my Preordain and then casting a ACOL next turn.
It's also interesting that he's played the Pearl and he's just decided that library's not happening.
Yeah, he has.
I think I would have fought over library a bit more. I probably would have not played my Probe. I would have just led with the library and passed.
Yep. I think that's perfectly fine.
But if you are going to play the probe, definitely playing the probe before showing library is correct. So
Yeah. He also knows I'm on Mentor, and so he can go, well, what if you have a Lotus Mentor hand and I need to find a Force of Will or something?
yeah, that's fair enough. I don't think Simon misplayed there at all. I think just I would have played it differently.
He's being very patient. As you
Yeah.
can see, he is casting Ponder, not Ancestral Recall here. And his other card in hand is A-Call, obviously. And he knows that I've drawn a single unknown card. And now that card could be Misstep, or it could be Force of Will. But I'm not going to force pitching Treasure Cruise to counter his A-Call. Or maybe I will, actually, given that it'll be his only card in hand. Yeah, I would. So yeah, he is playing conservatively and just keeping the A-Call, which is probably the correct play here. Waiting for a time where he knows that he can resolve it. Alright, I draw a card here, and I believe I'll show you that card now, but I believe I draw, and I'm going to show it to you now,
Demonic Tutor.
Demonic Tutor. Yeah. And this is where I want to be. And this is why I play black. You know, DT is way better than
Mystical. Yeah.
Now, there's options here. I can go for Black Lotus and cast Monastery Mentor here. It's an all-in play, but I know my opponent has Punishing Fire. And I have one unknown card. If my opponent draws a red card, that's bad for me because I throw away my DT and another card in hand.
Yeah,
and so I'm showing him like, oh, I've got all these Force of Wills.
Yeah, it's also he doesn't have the Force, but he could have red mana to punish the Mentor. So
yeah,
I don't mind going all in here, but
I can't remember whether I do or not, but from me sitting here, I'm like, don't get Lotus. That seems bad. But, you know, you never know. Let's see what I do.
But what are the chances you hit the Grove, right?
I'm pretty sure that I go for a more conservative play because it's not like I'm under any kind of pressure.
That's very true.
So I don't need to go all in here. It's not like I'm against Eldrazi and I need to just kind of present my threat.
He does have the A-Call, and the A-Call could arguably very easily find
I haven't seen A-Call, though. That's the thing.
No, but I just mean, in this case, there is actually a really good chance he could hit the red. So.
Yeah, so playing conservatively would be good.
Yeah, that's right.
I remember deciding between two cards here, and I'm talking to Simon whilst I'm doing this, and I'm saying, this is it's a serious event, but often the players all know each other, and so we often discuss our plays
and we
what
know
we're
what
searching
each
and what
other
we're doing.
are on, which is why you get certain mulligans.
Yeah.
You know.
So I remember telling him I'm deciding between these two cards, and I think I was saying that the game is probably going to go long.
Well, what's the other card you're deciding on?
Whatever it is, I think it's what I decide on. I think it's what I take, so you'll see it pretty soon.
Well, I don't think it's going to be... Is it something you want to fill the bin up, Dak Faden or something? And then you can fill the bin up for a cruise.
I think you're even correct. I think you might even be correct because I've got Treasure Cruise in hand, and
is that a fetch land on the left?
Yeah. So getting Dak Faden here means...
You get to Dak.
Yeah.
You do get to Dak, fetch Dak, and then...
Because I'm going the slow game here. So I'm going, I can't play Jace. I will never resolve Jace. So if I play Dak, often it's innocuous enough for our opponents to let it resolve even if they do have a Force of Will.
Look, I think Dak's great even against the fire, but another reason I'm really liking fire is my bug list struggles to deal with planeswalkers, and at least fire, if you have that Grove, lets you apply some pressure. You know, you can't neg the Dak, you can't just keep brainstorming the Jace. And,
I think that I went with Dak because I said, okay, next turn I'm going to cast Dak. If it resolves, I'm going to fill up my graveyard heaps. If it doesn't resolve, I play Mentor and Treasure Cruiser next turn. So I think that was my line, and it was kind of like a really conservative line. But I've still got a second card that's unknown in hand as well. And I'm trying to think. I think that's second Mentor. Because if it was Preordain or something, I would have snapped that off. So let's see. I might even show the camera what my things are. I have a feeling like second Mentor. So here we go. Crack. Fetch red source. Fetch red source. Cast Dak Faden. Oh yeah, Dak Faden in the house.
There it is. Cast Force of Will, couldn't
he? He possibly could.
Now, he hasn't fired off that A-Call, has he?
No.
I think now's probably good time. He runs main board Prior Blast as well, mate.
So, he does,
and he surely would be keeping it in post sideboard. But yeah, maybe we'll
Yeah.
Pyroblast here to
Knowing
counter the Graveyard.
knowing that he has main deck Pyroblasts would have made me change my play. But I was like, oh, he doesn't run main deck, right? And we have like 3 in from the side.
Oh, there it is!
Gets hit by
Calls
the
it like I
Pyroblast.
sees it. Makes Brainstorm really good, actually, when you have Pyroblast. Because you're just like, so how many times you brainstorm, you're like, oh, I want to find this, but it's like, oh, do I really want to find Force of Will and like burn my hand? Hey, I'll tell you what, brainstorming or A-calling on the off chance that you hit a Pyroblast is legitimate.
Yep. I go, oh no, Dak Faden's gone.
Mind you, now
Sad times.
your graveyard's still pretty big
Yeah.
after all that for cruising.
Sad times.
You can mentor. I reckon you can mentor out here, and
Well, that's the reason why I'm not playing Mentor. But I'm pretty sure my second card in hand is Mentor.
right. So you could hopefully draw a fetch land, run out Mentor, let it get counted if it needs to cruise.
Yeah.
And then drop the second Mentor back up.
And because he's got this Punishing Fire in hand, I'm like, do I have to play Mentor and run it under the bus to resolve my second Mentor?
Yeah.
Like, so bad.
Well, yeah, and then
Dak.
Grove is just brutal, isn't it?
Yeah. Sad times for Dak. Dak fading away into my graveyard.
He's fading away, isn't he?
So we have Brainstorm from Simon. And he's just casting Time Walk. I guess that's pretty good.
Does it do much? He's not on library, is he?
I'm fine with this. Just go for it. Like
Have it.
it's not like you've used up all of your mana.
Mm.
So he doesn't use up all his mana. He Time Walks just to explore. I'm fine with that. It's not like he has active Jace or something, where that Time Walk is actually a threat.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't think he's on library, but if he was on library, maybe, but nah.
He is deploying his lands, though. I think I would keep the lands to try and build up into library.
Yep, that's a great point. And he has just used his Brainstorm as well, so there's not much point in running out of fetch land.
Yeah. So here I just deploy my Monastery Mentor, knowing that this is going to get fired, punishing fired. But little does Simon know, in my hand I have a second Mentor.
But he can only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You've only got 6.
I can't.
That's
cruise.
a shame. So if he fires at the end of turn, you're not going to be able to cruise.
Yeah, I'm literally deploying Mentor that he knows about, so that he fires it to put a card in my graveyard, so that next turn I can play Mentor and exile my whole graveyard for Treasure Cruise. Like it's so embarrassing. You're like, I have to let a Mentor die to a single removal spell, not generating a single token, just so I can play my second Mentor.
I mean, arguably you could cruise there for 2, hit land, and then play Mentor.
But still, I get in the same situation, which is
Oh,
I don't
for
get to
sure,
trigger,
for
to
sure.
trigger the Mentor, and then I don't have the cruise to trigger the second Mentor.
Yeah, the prowess.
So yeah, it's embarrassing, but it was a play that I had to make. There's an argument that off knowing that my opponent has 2 main deck Pyroblasts, my DT could have found something else that's not blue, but I really wasn't thinking about main deck Pyroblasts. People usually have, say, 1 at most, but I haven't really seen many Oath lists with main deck Pyroblast. You see the control decks.
No, I'm running this very small punishing list now, and I'm running 2 in the sideboard, but certainly none in the main board. It's just dead against the Eldrazi shops, and maybe not dead, but not great even against the Perfect Storm, to be honest.
Yeah, this is me explaining, like, I retain priority and I exile that Mentor that I had to play into a Punishing Fire solely so I could play Treasure Cruise and trigger the second Mentor.
Force of Will's not bad here, actually.
It resolves and I get to draw 3
you've got
cards.
a Mindbreak Trap as well, so that's actually quite good.
Yeah.
You can, if you tries to punishing it again, you can kind of fight over it and then get enough tokens that it doesn't matter anymore.
That's it. I feel firmly in the driver's seat now.
Is that another Pyro or another Punishing Fire, I think?
So Force, Brainstorm, Mentor, Mindbreak Trap.
Ripped that fire, but you can force it.
Yeah. It's given that I had to spend 2 Mentors to get a single Mentor in play, I'm not going to let that resolve. And I've had this Mindbreak Trap in hand. I think that was I don't think it was drawn off the treasure cruise. I think that was my second unknown card. So here we go. We've got our other tokens, and now this is good times. Got
Well, you can hardcast my
bunch of
break trap, actually.
Yep, counter magic in hand and start swinging in and just keep passing the turn. Triggers. So that's a 1, not a 3. Let's correct that to a 1. So 1 prowess trigger. So I have the choice here to take jet or not.
I don't mind sinking land taking jet because you actually switch on a hardcast my break trap and you get to trigger.
It is, but jet's a bad card.
It's not a good card.
So yes, I agree with you that yes, there's a route in which I can use it as prowess triggers, but there's also one where I just bin both. Let's see what I do. Yeah, top bottom, get the jet.
I think I would top bottom get the jet.
Or I just get the land. Let's see what happens. Yeah, there's the jet, more triggers, and have.
It's a lot of pressure. I mean, that's death next turn with counter backup. Hard to argue against it. Oh, he doesn't care about the mind break trap anymore.
No, I think I'm just going for the win then. If that was the case.
But surely just swinging is the win also.
Ponder.
Right?
No, it's lethal. Yeah, no point keeping counters up if you can just swing for lethal with.
That's a good point.
With prowess triggers.
That's a good point.
So
game 1, punishing did do things against Mentor. It was relevant, but
well, it forced me to play a Mentor to solely get punished.
The other thing is, if he does fight over the punishing fire, you can trigger prowess anyway. However, he can respond to the prowess triggers with another counterspell.
Yeah, then I can mind break trap.
But he can't. He can't counter your counter in response to prowess. Then the prowess resolves. Then the fire resolves. But the Mentor's already 3.
Yeah.
So with the fire is really good, and if it eats a counterspell, that's fine. But you can't really fight over it in a real life or death scenario. So it's got its limitations. It killed a Mentor, and it traded with a counterspell there, which I think is good, but it still lost, didn't it?
Yeah, at the end of the day, we got to admit that the punishing fire in there is there for containment priests, and then also happens to kill revokers and, Thalias and stuff, but on the last item on its list is killing Mentor, really. It's not as effective as killing Mentor, but it can, so it's good to have it.
Mentor did work, though. I mean, Simon had the Pyroblast for the Dak Faden, which you invested a lot in because you actually DT for it. So DT, 5 mana, 2 turns.
It feels like such a bad play in retrospect, but I didn't know that he's got main deck Pyroblast.
Yeah,
so I was
off of an A-call as well,
Yeah. I was like, he could force this, and then I've kind of got 1 card for 2. It's okay, but it's silly. I should have just thought to myself, is there a chance he has Pyroblast because he's a red deck with blue? But, yeah. Oh, well. It didn't. At the end of the day, it fueled my treasure cruise. It was, it did what it had to do, but, going for something else would have probably been a better play there. Just going for A-call or something and just playing the long game, waiting and waiting.
Oh, 3 mana, 3 cards. It's fine.
Yeah.
DT A-call.
But it still gets Pyroblasted. But again, I wasn't playing around Pyroblast because I didn't think it was in there. It's good. It gets you. It got me.
It did get you. At this point in my list, I would be siding in my 2 Pyroblasts. Simon doesn't have any Pyroblasts in the side. He does have Fire, Grove, Life from Loam. Is Life from Loam where he wants to be?
Yeah, does he have one in the main?
No, he's got
one in the main, and
he does have one. He's got one in the main, one on the side. Yeah,
I think 1's fine. But at the end of the day, if he believes that he can play a long game against me, then he will bring in all this slow, dirtily card advantage cards. That's great. That'll be really good. The issue is, does he think he can play the long game? Because I have 3 Mentors. He doesn't know I have Tendrils of Agony, but I have 3 Mentors, and whilst Oath goes, yep, that's okay, you can have creatures. Alright, so this is what I'm taking out. Swords, 2 Jaces, an Island, and a Balance or something, I think. And what I'm bringing in is Notion Thief, 2 Frags, Flusterstorm, and 3 Containment Priests. So I'm going for the long game. So it's probably good for him that he's if he's going for the long game and going Life from the Loam and all that. Because I'm going, well, I'm going to play these dirtily little 2/2s, flash and attack you, just like Splinter Twin back in Modern, right? A flash thing at the end of your turn, attack with it. You know, like a little Snapcaster Mage, a little bit of value, but Containment Priest here is just shutting off the Oath.
Yeah, Life from Loam is just enormous value there. If you're ever playing Control and you're trying to get card advantage, and then they just drop Life from Loam, and you think, well, he's just got 3 bad cards, but 3 cards nonetheless. Yeah. But then, Notion Thief, Dak Faden, there's ways this game can really turn.
So he's taken out Library. No,
taking
that's
out
not right.
Orchid as well.
He's not taking those cards out, right?
Putting in the Grove package.
I thought I saw Dig Through Time there.
I wouldn't be taking Dig Through Time out in any matchup, I think.
I thought I saw Flusterstorm. Maybe they're coming in. Surely that doesn't make sense. That doesn't make. I don't know exactly what those cards were, but there were cards that didn't look like they were coming out.
I thought it was his hand at first.
Yeah. Because I was like, that looks like a great hand.
Yeah, it's cute.
Nice. It's Forbidden Orchards and some Dig Through Time.
Taking out 2 Orchards. Don't know how I feel about that in this matchup. Eldrazi different. I don't take out Orchards at all really, but against this matchup, you as a player, Sarven, because I've played against you, I know you a bit better. But perhaps it's the same with all Mentor. But surely you don't drop the Mentor until you're really ready and you're quite secure, and you're ready to really trigger it. So do you really?
This is a control matchup.
Yeah. So do you really want to be like jamming a turn to Oath, and then you just say, well, okay, I'll just control then until I hit Fragmentize, and then I'll go Mentor Frag.
Yeah.
So
I think that fundamentally this matchup is a control matchup.
Yeah, I think you want the Orchids.
And we just happen to have different win cons and ways to turn off win cons. And I've got more ways to turn off Oath win cons with Containment Priests than he has to turn off my win cons, which is Monastery Mentor beats, Little Creature beats, and Tendrils of Agony.
I'd agree. It is painful to give them 1/1s in a control.
I've got an A-Call hand, but it's got no blue.
Oh,
no.
Is it Strip and Mana Crypt?
Strip, Crypt, A-Call, Jace.
I think it's a mull.
I mull it.
Top though.
Yeah, I know there are people out there that will keep Strip, Crypt, top, try and find your way until you find a blue source and then cast A-Call.
Beautiful though. You go Crypt, you play
bad.
top, you spin top,
No.
you find your blue, you strip theirs, you top deck your blue, and then you A-Call to victory.
Universally incorrect.
Into turn
because you will lose to your Crypt.
To turn 3 Jace.
Turn 3 Jace, lose the game to Crypt. Like, if there was a Mentor, okay, we can start thinking about the fact that we could play Mentor quick and beat my Crypt. But I've never died to my own Crypt when I'm playing Mentor. The problem is, if you don't have a Mentor in your hand or a way to find the Mentor, you're going to have bad times in a control matchup. I want to play this game slow. Real slow. Alright? I've got so much hate in the deck, I didn't draw a single hate. Didn't draw a Frag, didn't draw a Containment Priest, didn't draw a White Source.
So why do you keep Mana Crypt in then?
Because it can power out the turn 1 Mentor.
Yeah, there's a lot of discussion about whether or not Soul Ring.
This is another hand with no coloured mana. It's got Lotus. I scry to the bottom. My hand has Lotus, Ruby, Containment Priest, Mentor, Library of Alexandria. No coloured mana. But I keep it because it's got Lotus.
Oh, it's got Library. You never know. Could just be draw go for a while.
But I'm on the Multa 6 as well.
You draw go for long enough.
A-Call turn 1.
Is this upkeep? This is just main phase. Just like I'm gonna draw a bunch of boxes and not have to discard the hand size.
Upkeep. I believe it's upkeep. Should be.
Or he's just got, Ancient Graders and he's like, I'm going to put them in
Seems
the bin.
Incorrect. Seems incorrect to not A-Call on my upkeep. Unless you already have a... Yeah, he already must have had a Pearl in hand.
Cheeky man. Cheeky man.
Alright, so I draw. I'm going, please have fetch land, but no. So, here I'm making a bluff that I'm all in on Mentor. So I go Lotus. Would you like to counter this? Library, because it's a colourless source. So this is basically saying, well, do you want to counter this? So trip white, float 1 white, and this, play mentor. You have to counter this, right? 1 white floating. Now, if he doesn't counter this, I go ruby and get to trigger it, and it's great. But Force of Will...
No, that's a Yu-Gi-Oh card.
Egyptian God card. It's exiling something.
Don't know what that does.
Now, as much as I would love to resolve my mentor, I kind of know, like, you know, he's A-called, he's got a Force of Will, probably he's going to counter it. But I have to do this because I'm priced into it. And now you see I just go ruby. And then use the 1 white floating and make Containment Priest. So there's points at which you could say lead with Containment Priest and then play the Mentor, but the problem is if you do it that way, you don't get to trigger the Mentor at all.
Yeah,
and
you
it dies
lose to fire,
yeah,
for sure.
But this way, and my hand is A-Call Frag, I think, because if he didn't counter the Mentor, I get to frag his Pearl and play Ruby, and it puts me so far ahead, so dramatically far ahead. So I kind of go, well, he's probably going to counter this, but if he doesn't counter it, I'm like 90-10 to win. But if he does counter it, I play Containment Priest, and he suddenly can't play Oath anymore. Not rely on the Oath win. So Life from the Loam, getting back 1 land, Scalding Tarn.
Who doesn't love a good old-fashioned Caravan Vigil?
I have no idea what that is, but I'll assume it's 2 mana, draw a land.
I think it's
cycle for a land.
No, I think it's 1 mana, search your library for a land.
Even better than Life from the Loam.
Why are we playing this in Vintage?
Yeah. Beats for 2. Here we go. Not draw land, pass turn, right? Let's see. Pass turn.
Wizards have spent a lot of time trying to make 1 mana search for a basic land possible.
Like Traverse
a good spell. Traverse the Ulvenwald.
Lay of the Land.
There's a new one which gives you 2 energy as well.
I don't know what energy is.
They're playing in Standard.
Is that playable in any Eternal format?
It's very
Highlander,
good.
There's that Brawler guy, Voltaic Brawler.
Yeah.
It's like a 3-2 becomes a 4-3.
Well,
it's playable.
Well, it's played in Standard, mate. And and it's pretty good. Gives you just 2 free energy. And
I don't know what that format is.
It's like Modern, but worse. And that's
saying
Highlander.
something, right?
Legacy, but worse.
just rolls downhill. So I think I'm expressing to Simon here that like I've locked out your Oath until you can find both Oath and Punishing Fire.
And you've only
but I just got to draw a land.
I got 8 turns, buddy.
Here we go. Wait for it. I just got to draw 4 more cards and go back in the library.
Mate, Tundra's where it's at.
Tundra, and my hand is golden. I don't think my hand was risky. That's the thing. That the Lotus non-coloured source into both Mentor, Priest, and they're going to have to counter one of them. I don't think that's risky. It's explosive but not risky. But now it's risky when your opponent has a Jason White Sculptor.
That's good. Although he's only Fate Sealing.
Oh.
The Priest actually keeps it under wraps a little bit.
I don't know why you don't just
brainstorm here.
Oh, it must have been.
Well, I would have kept anything that
doesn't produce blue mana.
Yeah. I guess he doesn't know you've got A-Core.
Yeah.
Mox Jet.
Let's see if that Fate Seal helped me or not. I think I drew Mox Jet. Is that rough?
Mox Jet, yeah.
Rough. There, I got there.
Tundra.
Got there.
So
I call myself. Please don't counter this. Please. See, if he brainstormed, he could mental misstep this, right? Yes, gets there. See, I think brainstorming there was correct because
I think so too.
Just deny me.
But he does. But he brainstorms there, and then he's locked into Fate Sealing for the rest of the game. But if he Fate Seals now, then he's still locked into.
Yeah, it's still the same. So you brainstorm earlier than later.
Yeah, I agree.
So now I'm getting more cards, and I go, do I deploy more things? No, I want to get back to the library.
Forgot about library.
Yeah.
Malta 6 into Lotus Ruby.
Library
doesn't seem like library's ever gonna.
You don't expect it to trigger the library, but you got Cruise and A-Call and lots of ways to draw 3 cards. Here we go, top. So the reason you deploy this when you have a library, for those at home, is because top is essentially a card in hand, because at any point in time you can activate it and return it to your hand. So and get a new card. I mean, so it's
Yeah,
a
I think
pseudo card in hand.
you've got 4, so you still need to go draw step,
Yeah.
draw for top. So you still need some kind of draw spell.
Yeah, I'm far enough away from the library that deploying a top here and just starting to filter is the way to go.
That's fine.
It's like a really bad Jace brainstorm every turn. You don't get the card, but you can look. Oh, here, bash Jace. Yep.
No race to the face, mate.
No race to face. He bashes Jace. See, the way that I'm playing this is going, well, if I keep attacking Jace, as much as I want to attack your life total, as if I keep attacking Jace,
bash the Jace.
Yeah,
because then he's just going to keep fate sealing.
Yeah, I want him to make the suboptimal decisions of having to
fate seal doesn't seem good,
Jace,
especially when you've got a top as well.
Yeah,
you know, he can fate seal and then say, "Oh, keep it," and then you just spin anyway. So
there's a world here where you unsummon the priest, because then it takes me another 2 turns before I can play it and attack it.
Definitely, I think it's a great idea to unsummon the priest, especially if you've got Oath.
Yeah.
But
you need a brainstorm at some point, because the first action wasn't brainstorm. He needs to brainstorm at some point, because otherwise it's actually not generating advantage. And the longer that the Jace doesn't generate advantage, the happier I am. Because you look at this board
slowly
state,
getting back into the game.
Get back into the library, and then my library can match the Jace for raw power alone, but not for quality. And for anyone tuning in and looking at this board state straight away, the advantage is for the Jace player. Like, you're definitely advantaged. So here he's making a nature's claim on my Sensei's Dividing Top.
Surely not.
Yep, so he's forcing me to crack the top. And
then you just crack the top.
Yeah, but this is usually the play where they have another response. So I activate to draw a card, and he goes, no, I'm going to respond by Ancient Grudging your top.
Okay.
Yeah, he really doesn't want me to have a top in the game for a long time.
That's much more reasonable, because I don't like that play, because you lose a card advantage because you still get the draw trigger, right?
Yep.
So you still get the draw, and he spent 2 cards.
Yes.
So it's a lot of card advantage, but he's got the grudge in the bin at least.
Yeah, and so the way he's playing it is going, the longer that top stays around, the more I'm going to be able to filter my draws. And this way he gets to fate seal other stuff.
And he also gets to flash that back right now and hit your Mox Ruby if he's so inclined.
Absolutely. The other play is to not to grudge the top, let me activate the top, let it go on top, then fate seal the top to the bottom, and then use the grudge again. That way he keeps the card. So that way he keeps the Nature's Claim in hand.
Yeah, look, I don't mind that play. If you had something else to do, I'd be doing it. But if you've got nothing else to do, I think it's fine to spend your mana to hurt theirs. I mean, he spent 2 cards just then to stop the top and hit a ruby. You got a card out of it, but I think it's okay, especially when you're on low lands like that. But he's definitely got to start brainstorming with that Jace at some point. Yes,
absolutely. So I'm basically counting all the turns until he brainstorms, and I'm going like, okay, so Fate sealed, Fate sealed, Fate sealed. Is that right? 3 Fate seals?
I think he's only had 2 activations, and it's been Fate seal, Fate seal.
Yeah, 2 Fate seals. So like the longer that that goes, the better. So I think I scribed both to the bottom, and got to just find another coloured mana source, I believe. And actually, I believe I did find a land, but I'm not playing it because library. Patience is the key.
Well, that's the thing. If you library, then it's actually better than a Jace that can only brainstorm.
See, I've got all this mana and a Hercule's Recall and a Ponder.
No need to play the Moxes.
No, I just basically, if I can draw one more card now, like next turn, if I draw one more card, I'm in library. So if he Jace brainstorms now, then next turn I library for the rest of the game. Basically, we're on par, and eventually the Jace has to Fate Seal, otherwise my Priest kills it. So I'm basically playing to try and match his Jace, and so far the Jace has no advantage.
I think library's better than Jace if you've got the critter out. To be fair to Simon, he might have Orchid in hand, and he might be worried that if he brainstorms, then eventually gives you an Orchid, you've
got enough tokens to kill Jace.
Yeah, that's 3 damage. So
no, I can see that.
So I think there's a logic there, but he doesn't have the Orchid in hand. I doubt it, unless he's played it. So yeah, it's interesting. There's the brainstorm.
Yep. So now this is the first time Jace has generated advantage because I've attacked it with Containment Priest. So now Next turn, basically whatever Simon does, I do nothing because I need to draw a card for my turn and then activate library. And once that happens, I'll activate library each turn. He'll activate Jace each turn, and eventually Jace will either die or have to fate seal.
Another logic to why he's been fate sealing is perhaps he does want to unsummon some kind of mentor that he's terrified of.
Yep.
Don't think that's great, but he could just be playing around some circumstance where unsummoning something other than the priest is correct. Mm-hmm. Because now obviously you bash the Jace down to 1, and he's forced to either brainstorm again and kill the Jace, or fate seal to keep the Jace alive. But if he unsummons, he kills the Jace. So this way at least he gets the option of fate seal, brainstorm.
Here we go. Draw a card
next turn.
Alright, so I'm on 7 cards now. And I still have Hercule's Recall in hand as well, so if I ever need to get back into the library, I can, if for some reason I use up cards to force and so on. Pass turn.
I think that's fine. No need to library now, because if you library now, you go up to 8, and then you have to play a Mox or a land to go back down to 7. But then if you have to force, you're down to 5.
Correct.
This way, if you keep 7, go to their turn, have 8 at the end of their turn, then draw up to 9, you and then you have to force, then you only go down to 6, and then you draw back up to 7 in yours.
And that's why I didn't play Ponder either, because Ponder gets misstepped. So, if you're really patient and you can stay in the library, it's really hard for your opponent to deal with that advantage. And so here, Jace has to fate seal. So basically, he's going to be fate sealing again, and Containment Priest is going to stick around.
Mind you, the Jace, a 2 brainstorm activations off Jace is sometimes enough. He might just want to brainstorm again, sacrifice the Jace,
but then I have active library.
You have active library for sure, and I don't think he wants to do that. But he might have just found what he wants and goes brainstorm here, find force, something like that.
Yeah, this is true. I find a lot of the time in these matchups, especially blue on blue, whether it's Oath versus Mentor or all the different variations of blue, people were not patient enough. You just need to have patience with some of these games, because people want to just optimally use their mana, so they want to preordain, or they want to ponder, or they want to do things to be mana efficient, but mana efficiency isn't usually as important. Here we go, Dak Faden. Dak Faden comes out. I don't want to see this, and I'm going, well, I really want to force this. I really want to force it, but I'm not a fan of getting this pyroblasted.
That's a good point. Well, surely you start off with the good old-fashioned library.
Library activation,
Get
right
a book.
there. Yep, I pull another book off the shelf.
What did you
My library card is
hire?
valid. So as of now, I have exactly the same amount of advantage as Jace has had.
What do you think the theme behind library? If you got 8 cards in hand, you got too many library books out. You have maximum 8. But why aren't they letting someone with 5 books?
It's not.
Borrow more books because they don't have enough books.
The cards in hand don't represent books. The cards in hand represent how many spells you know. So you need to be smart enough to study at the library.
Oh, okay.
But if you don't know enough spells,
your grade
you don't
point
know enough
average.
knowledge. Yeah, your GPA has to be 7, but not 8, not 6. It has to be 7.
8, and you're already smart enough, mate.
Too smart. Too smart. You can't learn anything more from the library.
And
we
are
bid
too
you good
smart.
day, sir.
You are too smart right now for this library.
Yeah, I drew the card, and I have the force, but I elected not to force his Dak.
Come back when you've forgotten something. Yeah, Dak's great, especially with Jace.
Yeah,
but
Dak's amazing.
More planeswalkers against critters that can arguably keep him down.
Yeah, so he's fate sealing me again.
Again, it's not optimal Jacing. I don't want to knock Simon. I'd be fate sealing here, but
he's doing it. He's playing correctly. I'm keeping Containment Priest out.
But the whole Jace Dak dream isn't being lived, is it?
Time Walk
seems
He
reasonable.
does not want to give me a Time Walk.
You can get an extra value. You can actually kill the Jace.
Twice, kill Jace.
Or Dak.
Yep.
Jeez, you might even kill Dak.
I would kill Jace here, but yes, Dak is definitely a threat. I respect the Dak. So here I'm just actually getting to finally cast spells, and I'm going misstep this, because I got to have too many cards in hand. So
but you still got lands and boxes at the very least. I know you'd rather be trading cards. But
Yeah, absolutely. So here I'm going for
looks like a brainstorm land. Dig through time.
It's funny because I can't actually answer planeswalkers except by attacking them. So I don't have we don't have Council's Judgment and that kind of thing in this format. So it exists. It's just not good.
Everything exists in this format.
They exist
except for brainstorms.
Shahrazad doesn't exist. So drawing card and guess I get to play lands here. So I think I'll be on 8 cards, is that right? Or am I on 7?
Yeah, I mean if you're on 8, might as well drop a Moxie Mox. Alright?
Mm-hmm.
I think you'd be on 8.
You must be on 8.
Makes sense.
Yeah, so play Mox, bash Jace. Take Jace down. So I'm fine with this being able to, so I library every turn, so I get an additional card. He Fate Seals every turn and DAC +1s every turn. Mm-hmm. So fundamentally, he gets card quality, but he doesn't get card advantage. And I don't get card quality, but I get card advantage. And
it's interesting, isn't it?
Yeah.
He's still got a decent grip. And
Life from the Loam returning lands and discarding them to DAC is very big card advantage.
Yeah, I do like that play. This is off a Mulligan and a turn 1 Cracking Lotus as well that got counted. So really interesting to see you get back into library here through patient vintage play.
Yeah, that's it.
Sometimes you can't be patient against Eldrazi or something.
It's true, you don't have the liberty. But whenever I'm playing blue, I'm always against. I'm either exploding turn 1 or I'm being patient. There's no middle ground. It's very hard to be in the middle ground against blue decks.
It's just the Tarn, is it?
Yeah, this has been rough on him because he hasn't actually been able to get
if
some
he'd
additional
found
lands in the
Strip
graveyard.
Mine, this game would have been a lot different.
Yeah. Strip Mine will change the play of this game hugely. So he's replaced the first draw with Dak Faden's the first draw off Dak Faden's draw 2 with the Dredge 3, and then the second will just be draw a card.
He gets to pitch it again.
Yeah. And he's trying to fill the graveyard with lands, but he's being really unlucky here.
Yeah, I mean at least he's still hitting his land drop, and he can pitch it again. He can actually brainstorm with Chase. Again, I don't know if he wants to, but
yeah, he's priced into keeping Jace around, and it's not a great place to be because he basically does nothing.
So here he's targeting himself. I think because you've got so many cards, he doesn't know. He doesn't know what you're looking for. He doesn't know if you've got all those Moxes and lands. He knows that you've been keeping cards to stay on library, so you could really have anything. So
correct.
To look at a card and see, okay, is it power? Is it not power? And that's your only sync choice. Not really worth it. So I think that's why he's chosen to target himself. I think that's a good idea.
Yeah, definitely. So here, essentially, draw 2 cards, basically.
Did you see if he kept it on top or put it on bottom?
He bottomed his card, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
And so now I'm on 9 cards. So
this priest is giving him grief. He'd really love a Punishing Fire for that.
Yeah. And I've got so many counters ready for that Punishing Fire.
Does he have a fire in the bin? I don't think he...
So the interesting part is I can keep Jace down for the whole game, and until he finds a Punishing Fire. Then I can counter his Punishing Fire, but at the end of the day, that doesn't win me the game because his life total is still 16. So I'm actually engineering another plan, but that's just kind of happening in the meantime.
Well, are you trying to tendrils here or something, mate?
I don't know. I won't ruin the surprise for you.
Oh, I think you might remember, Sarv.
So brainstorming here with an active fetch, which is beautiful.
And I think you've just activated a library with the brainstorm on the stack. So you've got a good old grip with the Tarn on the field. So
this is
pretty good.
Yeah, this is my chance to basically, because remember my hand was full of Moxen. This is my chance to basically make my hand better quality because it's been pretty mediocre quality at the moment. It's like got a Force of Will, a Ponder, and a Hercule's Recall and some Moxen. Like, I want that to be
if you
better.
had the tendrils, it'd be pretty good.
Yeah, exactly. So
being
able to shuffle things away is good. And I discard. End of the turn and discard a Hercule's Recall. Oh, and that's right. I was like, no, hang on, I got more than that. I need to discard 2 cards. That's right. I remember that. That feeling when you're just so far ahead. I'm like, and so we went, okay, let's just rewind here because I meant to discard more cards. So why don't I just
Play out
like,
Moxes or something.
yeah, throw out something. I just
get it.
frag something.
Frag it, tag it, mate.
Frag it, tag it into the grave, and then I'm like, yes. And then I'm still on 8, so I discard. Like, you know, when you're just spoiled for choice, you've got so many cards. So here Simon's just like, please be more lands in the graveyard, because he's not hit lands. He's dredging, and there's a land. Okay. So now we can finally like
Get
Green
advantage.
Ancestral Recall and actually get some real card
Divination,
advantage. Yeah. So cast Green Ancestral Recall again. Gets 2 lands back. And you know, he has these planeswalkers, and they're just constantly fueling him with card quality, but that's it, not card advantage. So if we replace the first draw from Dak with that dredge, now he's finally getting additional lands in the graveyard, so that he'll be able to dredge.
2 fetches.
Yeah.
Well.
So now his
20.
graveyard, he's actually going to be able to Green Ancestral Recall now, and drew normally off the second Dak draw. It's at this point that I am somewhat worried about Dak's ultimate, because once he -6s it, he can Pyroblast my Containment Priest, for example, and gain control of that. Pyroblast my library, gain control of it. You know, this is a thing that can actually happen. So yeah, he's Life from the Loam. Again, second time, this time returning 3 cards. So now if he can get his own library, he can be on it, because his hand is full of gas.
Yeah, full of gas. He might even have to get a discard here.
Yeah, it'd be interesting.
But even
So
if
he's
he
going
doesn't,
for
I
a
mean,
seal.
you know, the next Dak is going to be good, right?
Yeah. Basically, the longer I can dodge Strip Mine, or Punishing Fire, and you know, because he's got Grove of the Burn Willows, right? The better. The longer I can dodge them, the better. And whilst that's happening, I'm going to be just attacking Jace.
Yeah, it's been a long game that is sort of even in very different ways.
Yeah.
Library and Priest versus 2 Planeswalkers, but there's
But
a lot of
eventually.
cards that could break it on either
Absolutely.
side. Tendrils on
Absolutely.
your side, I believe, and you know, on his side, even any kind of removal spell,
Yeah.
or
Punishing Fire or Strip Mine.
or to be honest,
Yeah.
now that he's got bad cards in hand that he's happy to Dak,
Yeah.
he's going to get that card
The
advantage.
Dak value will get pull ahead. And
Yeah.
also Dak Ultimate is a thing. So
But
he's-
only a bit per turn, so you could still draw a backbreaking card. You could still draw Mentor. You could still draw any kind of threat, or your own sort of Jace as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So fetching here, the 2 mana open on his side is relevant. You know, I'm thinking, oh, is it mana drain, or does he have Pyroblast to blow me out again? You know, just like last time he blew out my deck. So try to play around some things, but still, you know, I'm 1 card up, so time to deploy some things. And dig through time.
Two times a pretty good one.
So
Probably keep in Lotus and Mentor and Acol.
yeah, I keep in some Rocks and Hercules, I
Mhm.
believe. But I think I have 2 plans here, and I decide, do I leave in Hercules and Rocks, or do I take out the Rocks and just go, no, I'm not going to Hercules this game? And I ended up kind of splitting it and went with leaving Lotus and Acol, and just went for raw power. So I just kept raw power cards in.
I think that's fair. I mean, I think at this stage, if you do want to go for Tendrils, it's going to be pretty good either way.
Yeah, but he can have Flusterstorm. And he can actually have 2 Flusterstorms, which will really put a crimp in my Tendril style.
I see DT there.
Yeah, so off this dig is where I get to actually shape a real game plan. All this time it's been mitigate Jace, like that's been the whole game. But now that I've dug, I get to make a decision here on what my game plan is, and I pretty snapped quickly 2 cards, and I'm pretty sure one of them was the DT.
No
Isn't
black
it?
for DT at the moment.
No, but I engineer the next turn.
That's right. Although, as we said, I think Simon is going to have a good turn. Again, I haven't seen this match, but I think Simon's going to have a good turn next turn. I don't think it'll be explosive turn. I think it'll be a really good value turn.
Yeah.
And the turn after that is going to be incredible. Just based off of that Life from Loam deck.
Here,
Which could mean the turn after is the turn we finally see Jace do something other than Fate Seal.
well, things change here because I attack him with Priest.
Mm.
And this is like the biggest telegraph that something is wrong. And I'm pretty sure Simon will, as soon as I do that and I stop mitigating Jace, I think he's like, okay, you've got something.
Something's up.
Something's up.
Something's up.
Something is different here. And I show you my hand. Tendrils, DT,
Oh, and you got the Fluster
Force
as
of Will,
well.
Fluster,
And a Gush.
And Gush.
Wow. Yeah, it's nice.
And so my decision there was I can keep bad cards like Moxen and Tendrils you, but I get blown out by counters like Flusterstorm, and I know that Flusterstorm always comes in these matchups. So instead, I went for card quality and made it for a mini Tendrils. That's why I had to attack him to take him to 14. So I'm going, well, next turn I'm going to mini Tendrils you. So for just 7.
Well, I think Simon's going to have a good turn here though as well.
Yeah.
So this is actually a really, really interesting game as far as I'm concerned. I know you know the end, so no spoilers, alright, Sarv. But yeah, we've even got that DAC on 6 as well, going up to 7 here. So what's his ultimate is 6?
Well, his ultimate is 6. The other thing was, like, if I didn't attack him with the Priest, that's my last chance to get 2 damage in, because he could ult DAC and Pyroblast my Priest.
And we've been talking a lot about you, but for Simon, I feel like he's played a patient game today.
Absolutely.
And I feel like he got a little bit
alone.
He got a little bit unlucky with those lives, but I think it was correct to go down that life from the lone path.
Yep.
So he's and this is the final game of the tournament, final match. So he's played really patient so far, and had a really good tournament.
Absolutely. If he had flipped 2 more land earlier on in the game, not even a strip mine, but any other 2 lands, his Life from the Loam plan would have been huge.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I think
huge.
it would have trumped your library.
Yes.
Not by incredibly much, but maybe just enough.
He'd draw so much.
Yeah.
He'd be drawing so much.
And so much
many
quality
cards.
as well.
Yeah.
For sure.
So here we go. Here's the punishing
Here we
fire.
go. So someone's doing something here.
Yeah.
It's time. He knows it.
And now
he can smell it.
Everyone knows. Well, everyone at home who sees my hand knows that my plan is to Tendrils, right? So the only reason I fight over this is to tap Simon out of Flusterstorm. That is like 100% the only reason.
We don't know what's in Simon's hand.
Exactly.
Did he have Oath and just hasn't deployed it yet?
A number of oaths were milled into the graveyard. I have a
He's
feeling
got to have
like
something though, right?
I have a feeling like he's all in on the Planeswalkers because the oaths are milled. And
he's got to have a quality hand with those DACs, right?
Yeah, there's an oath. There's another oath. His hand. I'm just going like your hand must be gas, so I need to get rid of your Flusterstorms because how else do you beat Tendrils? Flusterstorm. So I'm like, I need to tap you out. So I need to pretend like Containment Priest is important, and I'm going to fight over it.
Or does Simon really want to fight her, or has he just got a spell that is relevant against Containment Priest and not relevant against much else? No. Which would mean he might not want to fight over it.
It's possible.
Although, perhaps he does because it helps his Jace, but at this point, does he need the value?
Yeah.
It would have been great turns and turns and turns ago, but now that obviously you're building to something, is he really... Oh, he's got a second fire. That's fair.
But I'm happy with this because he's tapped off blue. Like, you kill my guy, I Arminar over a little bit, but then allow it to happen.
You're pretending to Arminar.
I do it a bit.
I do
the
putting it on.
Bluff.
Oh, wow.
Like, fire.
Learn
See if we...
Oh.
Mindbreak Trap your fire. Because it's the 3rd spell you've cast.
And it exiles as well, which is nice. Little factor.
That's it.
See if he fights over it. Oh,
because,
he does?
Yeah. I want him to Pyroblast. Because then he can't counter my Gush. Because he only leaves red open, and so the only possible thing he has is Pyroblast.
I think you would, if you had it, you probably would Pyro there, right? Again, I don't think it's a misplay by Simon at all.
No, we say these things, and then I'm leading him into this situation, but all of the plays are correct.
Yep, I would
So-
definitely pyro that.
It's like playing chess, right? You just do this, and you know that the correct play that the opponent is going to make is this, and you know you wouldn't not pyroblast this,
No, you'd always pyroblast that.
but because it's just going to get rid of the containment priest, and then you're going to have unlocked your Jace. He doesn't know I have tendrils, so. And the surprise factor is one of the reasons why I do play the tendrils build.
And for you, it's a good opportunity to fire up a Mindbreak trap that might not be relevant in the tendrils turn.
Correct. Largely the reason I did that, other than drawing out Pyroblast, is that there's no other time I'm going to cast it. Because I plan to win this turn. There's no other time I'm going to be able to cast a Mindbreak trap, so go for it.
So I think
Use up Pyroblast.
you've got 7 in hand here.
Yep. And he's on 14. And we start with Gush. And I float black, and that should be a big enough sign for people when they're listening. When I go black, they're like, yeah, it's a
Strip mine, I think.
interesting, that's tendrils. Yep.
So black floating.
Yep. 1 black floating. Storm count is 2. And yeah, when your opponent floats black, and you're tapped out, and you're like, oh, I'm not going to get out of this.
I do love Yorgies. In my Punishing Fire list, I'm actually still splashing black for DT Yorgmoths.
And can you see how if I played 4 Monastery Mentor, no one would be afraid of this. They would go, okay, you play Mentor, you play a bunch of guys, okay, I balance them away in my turn or something. Like, this particular line is one that is completely unexpected, and people are happy to tap out because they know, well, what are you going to do, play Mentor? But
alternatively, the opposite, they know you're running tendrils, they think it's a tendrils list, they see a Hercules, and then they're scared of tendrils all game.
Correct. So just a different attack strategy that I enjoy. So I like my tendrils, like me a little bit of tendrils. And so I've shown him, I basically showed him Yorgmoth's Will, like I win, right? And he's like, well, we've got to play this out. We've got to play this out. And I'm like, okay, that's fair. You know, it is the finals. Let's do this. And my decision making is like, okay, how do I not punt? I have this win.
So you've got black floating, right?
1 black floating. Storm count is 2.
Yeah. So unless you're gonna
Play
library,
I'm not librarying. I want to use library mana.
I think
I don't wanna do
So
anything
it's
else.
obviously you're going to Yorgs and Yorgs and Lotus, and probably play Priest again, or do you play DT again and DT for?
Well,
is it all tendrils? You know, or is it Lotus into ACOL top dig through time kind of thing?
hard tendrils.
Hard tendrils. I don't know what's in your hand, but I feel like hard tendrils might do
I have
it.
Fluster Storm in hand, and I was like, you know, how do I not lose? And so he's just showing, well, you know, Force of Will, your thing.
Yep.
Force of Will.
I'd
I'm
do
like,
that.
yep, I got Fluster Storm. So that goes up to Storm count 4.
And then Foster makes Storm count 5.
Yeah. Fluster Storm count 5.
Got to be very confident he doesn't have anything else now. So
Yes. Yeah. He's like,
Ooh.
where do you want to put the copies? And I'm like, on that.
almost
entirely
Simon.
fair. Entirely fair. He's a judge.
Almost.
He's making it correct. He's playing it correctly. Exile, and I just go Lotus Tendrils. And so for those of you at home, when you cast Tendrils, that's the number of copies on it equal to the number of spells played this turn, and that's 7 spells.
That's 14
and
damage.
that's 14 damage. And even if he has another Force of Will, that's going to be making him lose 1 life. He counters 1 copy, he still takes 12. So that's how you win with Tendrils.
Yeah, well played by you, obviously, Simon. Well played by Simon.
Yeah, Simon's game was good. It was
great-
a good
great tournament.
grinder.
Nice to see life from Lone.
Yeah, I love it. So thank you to everyone who's been watching at home and following us. We have our next tournament coming up next month, and that is going to be Legacy.
Looking forward to it, guys. See you later.
Bye.